projects that are going to integrate the work that University of Illinois Extension is doing into the college and the university as a whole. Please send response to. And that was basically it. We wrote a proposal to utilize the work, the base work of marketplace literacy, which you all have heard about and know the core content of that. But we added a third dimension to it, and that is marketplace literacy does a great job of telling you how to be a consumer, how to be a very strategic buyer, and work with your rights and your knowledge within the marketplace that you exist in. It also creates the opportunity for you to understand how to be a seller, how to deal with customers, how to work with customers, how to spot opportunities, how to create spaces for marketplaces to form, and you participate in those. We added a bit of a third dimension, and that third dimension is, well, we understand now that you know how to be a consumer, now you also know very, very much about being a seller. What would it be like if you could be a maker? If you could create a product or a service? And so that was the premise of our project here. Fred's got the camera here. Okay. You want to drive? Yeah, just do it on the slide. It's fine. One of the things that we ran into, you want to advance me to the next one? Yeah. You just probably, okay, there it goes. Much as you've seen here, marketplace literacy is a fundamental set of concepts that can be adapted in multiple and various ways. Very early on, with our association with the college, and with the idea that we have a little bit of a difficulty, it's not exclusive, but we have a bit of a difficulty trying to identify a subsistence market in the United States. The conditionalities of subsistence marketplaces do exist, without a question, but finding those environments, finding those places is a little bit difficult. So what we did is we created this idea of, again, rebranding, because as you have heard today, the word marketplace literacy, it's easy to say in English, but it has a negative connotation in English immediately. Because if you say the word literacy, it has a connotation of lack of, just in its own right. So we decided to change, and once again, the name, and say it's mastering the marketplace. We wanted to keep it a little bit upline in terms of its approach and appeal to people. So we did the very appropriate college thing. All the academics will appreciate this in the room, I'm sure. Mastering the Marketplace 101, 102, and 103. And the idea is we segmented it out, where it was the consumer literacy portion, it was the entrepreneurship and selling portion, and we also put a little bit in here about how to be a good retail salesperson, around customer service and other such things. Why? Because our goal here was to create not only good literate consumers, but also employable citizens. People who could take these skills and apply them in a job setting. And finally, would you like to be a maker? We taught people the idea of design concept. And our focus, you must understand, our focus here is with lower literacy, lower resource individuals. So as you can see, quite the challenge here. How did we do it? How does it work? Ooh, very much you saw here. We start bottom up. We found people where they were. We start with those basic concepts, and for those of you who are practitioners of marketplace literacy, you realize what these are. I need to tell you, this is the lesson where we teach people about where you shop, why do you go there, why do you like to shop there. And the key component about marketplace literacy that for those of you who are not practitioners who may just be listening to it, is the fact that it starts indigenously. There's no a priori knowledge required, none, about marketplace literacy. We just work with where you go, where you are. Where do you shop for groceries? Kroger. Why do you go there?
Close to my house.
It's convenient, isn't it? How do you think about how the price is? Okay. Are there cheaper places in town?
Probably.
Why don't you go there?
Habit.
Takes no marketing knowledge. takes no a priority knowledge to extract the actualities of the marketplace out of people. They'll tell you, oh, I go to this store, I like that store. Why? It's cleaner, it's safer, better pricing, blah, blah, blah. And so you just build this body of knowledge in situ. That then is where you launch from. We teach people concepts through their personal experiences. Again, no marketing knowledge required. We constantly reinforce the idea of value, right? Oh, how many times have we said, what do you get? What do you get, right? The balance beat in marketing, that's the thing. And then finally, again, this concept of not only monetary value in terms of time, effort, and energy, but also life values as well. And then finally, we use the 3D printer, in essence, as this finalized tool. We lead people through this design process to get them to think about, well, what would work in your environment? Tell me something that you need. What would work? And then we actually place them through some very simple software. They're able to drive to a design, and then we actually 3D print that design. Now, most of our, again, you might think, I'm sorry, please. You might think that it's impossible to do, but it's not. We can take very nascent individuals and through our processes, train them on how to use some very, very simple computer-aided design programming, something called Tinkercad. I don't know if you've ever been there, done that, or used it. It's a fun tool. You'll see just in a moment how much fun it can be. And we just simply train adults, because again, it doesn't take any knowledge to be able to do it. It's all visual and it's all kinetic. You see a list of shapes. Click the shape and drag it into the workplace. And you can turn it, and you can spin it, and you can slice it, and you can cut it and dice it, and all kinds of things. You bring another shape in, and before long, it just intuitively, they're able to create and build these shapes. No previous knowledge required. Who is our audience? We had and by the way, our audience here is, who is our target? You're fine, Greg. Our audience initially targeted was, again, low resource, low literacy individuals who may have some precept about wanting to come and participate in an entrepreneurial type program. But an unanticipated benefit, and for any of us who are practitioners, we understand this, we know this, young people. Young people gravitate to this idea, especially if you're using a tool such as a 3D printer, because the technology in essence is a little bit of a hook. They see this as, ooh, I've heard about that, that's something new, let me go investigate that, see what that is, okay? And what you see here, and I want to take just a moment to talk about this particular young man, that is Jason. Jason is so he's on the autism spectrum, he's Asperger's. And what he's doing here is kind of hard to see, but what he's actually doing is building a set of glasses. He's creating a design for glasses. Why? Well, he wears glasses, but he loses his glasses, he told me. And my mother gets very upset. Gets very mad at me when I lose my glasses, because I need them to be able to see. So what was his project? I want to build a set of glasses that I can create a 3D file and I can print a pair of glasses. So at any time if I lose my glasses.
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And this little buddy was getting her done. Here we see other young people involved in this. Here we got a group of high schoolers actually making a commercial. I brought in high-def cameras and lighting, studio lighting, and they made their own commercial for their own products that they had created. Next slide, please. Where do we work? I'm sorry. Okay, where do we work? We initially started in a maker place, the Marketplace Makerspace in Marion, Illinois. We did this uniquely in a mall, in a shopping mall. This was the first time the University of Illinois Extension had ever had an actual office in a retail space. Kind of cool, and they didn't know what in the world to do with me when I was doing that. But we loved the Chinese restaurant right across the hall there. You can see anything. They would actually come over, and a really cool thing happened here, quick anecdote. Two young men, two children of theirs, one more fluent in English than the other child. They would come over and they would bring us little fortune cookies and the little thing of, you know, a dumpling or something, and they do that, and from mom and dad next door, and then the partnership that we created here that helped us build this, another gentleman, his name is Jimmy Cuny, this is we help with homework on the computer. We would teach a little as we go. So anyway, but this is what the space looked like. It was not big enough. We ran out of room very quickly. I'm running out of time. This is some of the places where we work. Again, trying to find those audiences, trying to find a low resource, lower literacy level opportunity. We found a home in Belconda, Illinois, and don't look for that on the map because it's hard to do. But this is along the Ohio River in Polk County, in the middle of nowhere. But if there's a Job Corps center there, and for those of you who don't know, Job Corps is where they take troubled youth, let's just categorize it like that, and give them an opportunity to learn an actual trade, carpentry, urban forestry, electrician, what have you. And they house them in this facility, and there's a program of study that they go through. And we introduce marketplace literacy to them there. And many of you that do the program will recognize the backpack slide. Mm-hmm. If you use that, you'll recognize that plaque. So we're redesigning the backpack to try to understand it. We had a really nice facility here, but this was a really, really good environment for us. Another place that we work is that we found out that we could actually pack up this thing we had in the back of the car and move it and take it to various schools. And so I will tell you that this is a challenge to try to teach 12-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 8-year-olds how to do this, but it's incredibly rewarding. And you get some of the most brilliant ideas that you've ever seen from them. Okay, who have we served? As of this time, more than 4,250 individuals in Southern Illinois and Chicago West Side in 36 months of active work. We have not been able, because of the constraints of resources, meaning not being able to give 3D printers to every facilitator that we might go. This work has been done primarily by me and another gentleman in Chicago named Phil Fairweather. Phil's done about 10 or 12 sessions for us up there, and he's basically one of our seed planters. He goes and plants the seed, does a program, and then if there's some growth, we come behind with a whole show and do the thing. So I'm very, very pleased to report that in the context of the grant itself, we've had this level of response, 4,250 people, but some interesting things. 32% of that audience has been youth. That's 11 to 21 years of age. They have a high degree of interest. We get calls all the time to come to schools, and would you come do this? We went to program. And I don't know, for those of you who are not familiar with the North American educational model, getting 2 days back to back in an elementary school to teach something is like a miracle, because they are so compressed on time. Another interesting thing we find is for each 12 adults we serve, we find at least one product or service that could be commercially developed. As you know, and as you see here, Marketplace Literacy leads people to a conclusion. It's like we have this idea, we want to start a business, we have a thing. In our program, about 1 out of 12 of those people that participate actually come up with an idea. What's the good news? Again, about 1 out of 12. And more than 80% of the participants want to have further programming or education on product development and 3D printing technology. That's really nice, but that's lots of work, as I'm sure you know. What's hard? What was the bad part? The word literacy it was problematic to start with. And the bottom-up approach is not well understood domestically. Here in the United States, this idea of trying to go out into the communities, find out what they need, and build something up for that is hard to understand. So when you're trying to talk about the program, when you're trying to describe the program, very, very difficult to do that in some cases. And initially, the lack of a wraparound opportunity for more education and product development, it wasn't there. When we were building these things up, and then we were just like, okay, thanks, we'll see you. So we needed to solve that problem. Okay, if you look for it, there's a couple more that we're going to hide that slide and just go to the next one, please. Okay, yeah, our vision. Our vision was to kind of create this idea of places where people could come, take their ideas, make their ideas real, and have the support services in terms of other education, other training, and other tool sets that they could use. And this is our concept. This is a building that we were given use of in Harrisburg, Illinois. We've not yet conceptualized that yet. Excellent. I appreciate you doing that. But what we were able to do is we were able to get this kind of dumpy looking pole barn thing on the outskirts in the low income section of Harrisburg, Illinois. Perfect location. And 3,000 square feet, and we had an opening. We actually created another makerspace in Harrisburg, Illinois. Now, I can't show you a lot of what's in there, which is really crazy, because you would think I'd have all kinds of pictures to show you, oh, we do this, we do that. I can't do that. And the reason for that is we actually have projects in the back there that we have non-disclosure agreements on. We actually have people working there creating things and projects in. And I can't show you a great deal of that, but you might recognize a couple of people here. This is my friend Jim McEwen. He owns, or is the principal for ITG, International Technology Group 3D. It's a not-for-profit in Illinois that works to support all the work we're doing. Finally, this quick slide right here, that's an airplane wing. Yes, it is. We got challenged by a small company to say, hey, I've got a problem. We have this airplane wing, and we really need to fabricate a way to put a clear lens here for landing lights. The company called Force One Aviation that takes retired Soviet jets, refurbishes them for rich people who want to go play Top Gun on the weekends, right? And they build these and they sell them for racing and stuff like that. They came to us with a conceptual design problem, and what we were able to do with the tools and technologies that we were afforded just with the University of Illinois' help, and not their engineering help, just what we had gotten on the grant, we were able to fabricate those lenses with 3D printers, and now they have their own production molds and models that we had built and made for them. And again, those resources that get generated from this work that we do come back into the not-for-profit. And that then provides the area in which we work. Finally, Community Innovation Center, this is the summary. In the year or so that we've been involved in the Community Innovation Center, the CIC as we call it, which is that yellow mustard colored nasty looking pole. There have been 5 separate businesses that have generated out of that. We've had 11 unique products developed, individual unique products, using the technologies available. And what we have in the back is very simple. We have a couple of computer numerical controlled mills, a couple small lathe, hammers, tool, just that kind of stuff. All the design work happens in the front end of the building. We have a small computer lab there, a small design lab that we do training on people with all the time. And the most important thing, our latest work, I've had some involvement in this. We're going to give our technology that we helped create away to the not-for-profit here. But we have 2 provisional patents for an acoustic sensing device that's going to help people that build mechanical gearboxes, do sensory work on them in agricultural implements. And so we have that anyway. So overall, this process going all through it has been very rewarding. As you can see, marketplace literacy has a lot of variations. It's kind of like fried chicken. You get fried chicken about anywhere in the world, but it tastes a little better here. It's a little different there. Got a little more spice here. There's little things here. All right. I thank you for your time and effort. Now what I'd like to do is just open up the floor, if you will. Remember, you generated at least 25 or 30 questions. So, if our presenters, if you'd be kind enough just to answer and see where we're at here. So please, let's ask some questions and see if we can create greater understanding. Who's going to go first? Right here, again.
I have a question about you mentioned just at the end the term in the UK, and is that kind of like an incubation center, or can you just explain like a minute or 2 more about that?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So it's a 3-stage model. It's in a Western context, so it's a higher income context, but it's still people who are either wanting to create livelihood businesses, lifestyle businesses, or scalable businesses. So we've got micro business up to SME, so to speak. We work with refugees who are considering entrepreneurship, those who are determined to launch, and those who have already launched. So all 3. Okay, and there's 3 levels of support. It is mimicking and other incubator models. It does adapt content sometimes towards the fact that people may have certain knowledge knowledge gaps based on their new arrival and also to the barriers that they may face. So we have special finance tools as in access to finance specific to refugee entrepreneurs that they would otherwise not be able to get from the mainstream. So we have adapted models, and it's also very design thinking based. So while we don't use the vernacular as much, because we try to also, as usual, keep the language simple. And what we saw yesterday with Niels and I and the right, was actually kind of how we work with them to kind of try to quickly get people through.
Next. Yes?
I heard you talk about the refugee the situation in Kenya and Uganda, and I can see in Kenya is well established, and used there in Uganda there is a situation which is one of them. Can you explain that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So we work with a partner organization, Xavier Project, as you recall, in East Africa. They have well-established hubs in Kenya, but they don't have well-established hubs in Uganda. And why that's the case? Well, on one hand, I think community-led organizations are maybe not yet as well supported there in general, so maybe there's less focus from funders on community-based work there than it is in Kenya. Secondly, the team there is newer, so they started in Kenya earlier. I think overall it makes a massive difference if you have like a well-established network or something that's still nascent, like a baby, that is it takes so long, you know. You really gotta pick your partnerships carefully in that sense, because it's great to do things from scratch again, but it takes a long time. So I think there are opportunities to replicate what's in Kenya in Uganda with other partners, and I may have to start looking for that actually. But I'm not the only person answering questions.
Yes.
Oh, and also, is there a particular reason why you choose, because I saw photos, so I don't know if that's representative of the rest, why do you choose to do the workshops like in a school setting, or the way they arrange the seats, for instance? In Mexico we saw that didn't work because it creates like a hierarchy, and we didn't want to create that. So just wondering, was there any particular, because I also saw they're in the tree, right? Like
Yeah. That setting is quite flexible, and it can be adapted according to the situation and the village where the training is taking place. But we are, as you were saying, the trainers are our bosses. Same, it's like that also in Tanzania, because they are the ones who, according to the needs of the trainees and according to the environment and the situation, they are the ones who decide where to have the training and when and so on. And so according to the facilities available in the village and the weather conditions also, because for instance, usually they like to stay open air, but if it's rainy season or if it's very hot, when it's sunny, the sun is really very hot, it burns your head. So they decide autonomously where to have the training. So sometimes the village leaders give them the possibility to use a school when it's not school time, lessons time, or a village office which is available, and let's say they could feel more comfortable instead of under the sun or under the rain. So, but we are very flexible. It's up to them to decide when and where to arrange it. No? Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, sometimes it is very hard because of sometimes they are living very far from the village offices or classrooms. So that's why you can find that they train under the trees when it is very sunny. And then we sometimes advise that they have to get to be trained maybe during the rainy season. They have to be trained very close to the boma, to the houses, so when it rains they have to go to that place.
And then sometimes during the rainy seasons, the a noise issue, because if the roof is made of
Rain.
aluminium sheets, it's too noisy and they cannot hear themselves. So there are also some logistic issues to take into consideration.
All right, time for just a couple more.
Thank you. Francesca, I really liked a point that you mentioned in your presentation about, you mentioned about the future, and you talked about things like scaling, impact. You also mentioned to capitalize on the experiences acquired. And then I think to Elaine and Christy, and I think the valuable experiences that you both have had has now led to this hybrid organisation that you're creating. And I'd love to know a little bit more about how you're envisioning this moving forward, and the experiences that you acquire, how they're going to be implemented into this new concept.
Well, yeah, just quickly, and then I let you. That is a challenge that I launched. We have some ideas, so we this last year of the project we are setting a series of exit strategies, so as to increase the sustainability of the activities that we have implemented. So we are kind of mentoring the trainers, for instance, not only on the marketplace literacy, but of all components of the project, like also the trainers for the saving groups. We apply that methodology of training the trainers for all the components of the project. So we are kind of mentoring them, letting them understand that business can also be done with services, not only products. So now they have acquired an expertise on these topics that they can sell. So of course it's not part of the culture, it's a kind of mindset that they have to build, but we are trying to channel them in a way that they could propose a sort of package with a small fee, of course, which has to be feasible for the community members, if they want to create other groups and want to go on training, for instance. So this is just an example, but our role as NGO is to try and find some possible solutions for the sustainability of what we do, of what we have created. So one thing is what we have created and the sustainability of what is there now, but another point is how to scale up. So we know, for instance, on the marketplace literacy, the interest is very high in those communities. And if the community members, because they cannot afford it, maybe, they are not ready to pay a small fee, even to cover some small expenses that the trainers have to have if they have to train, then there is the issue, because we don't know how to go on. Because if the project ends and the NGO has no other grants to go on, then we should find the solution within the community, within the pool of trainers, and that could be challenging. But so we are thinking of some solutions that we'll share with them. They are the ones who know very well how it works in the community, so they could also have some ideas. That's the bottom-up approach. Huh?
All right, so we're going to have to stop it there. Sorry, our master calls back. You are more than welcome.